Hey, welcome back to Say Mojo Homestead. Today I am making vegetable stock and I figured I would bring you along. My aunt was here a while ago and she had never seen this way of making vegetable stock. A lot of people would think that with chickens and gardening that we use our vegetables for compost or for feeding animals, but most of them we actually don't use for that. We actually save our vegetables and make our own vegetable stock, and that means less waste and less money being spent on things like vegetable stock. I am actually chopping, these are the last of our sweet pepper harvest, and I'm chopping these kind of just like roughly to freeze them so that I can have them for soups or to saute. Oh, one little guy got left out. Or to saute, or for whatever in the winter while we don't have peppers growing. So I freeze them on a pan so that I can get them out in the portion sizes that I need and they don't freeze and clump together. One year I didn't do this. I froze them all in the bag and I would have to like bang them on the counter and I ended up putting holes in the bag. It was kind of a disaster. So this is an extra step, but it's worth it. I have all these left over, and instead of throwing that away or using that in the compost, I'm gonna put it directly in my crock pot. I'm using everything, all of the scraps. This stock is basically just made from your vegetable scraps. I have the seeds, I have the stem, I have everything that would typically get discarded, and we use that in our stock. So in this bag, we have all of our scraps. Anytime I cut an onion or use garlic or any of that, we put the scraps in here, and even the paper from the onion and the garlic we'll put in there to season our stock with. You can see we have like a carrot top that after we cut up our vegetables for our salad or whatever, we just literally throw everything in a bag, put it in the freezer. We have a celery end so that we can flavor our stock with these items. Some important things to know about stock. Most of your flavor is gonna come from celery, which seems really strange to me because it's watery, but it flavors it really, really well. So you wanna make sure you have celery in there. The other thing you want are carrots. We had some carrots in our refrigerator. I knew I was gonna be making this stock, so I went ahead and washed them and cut off the tips and the tops so that I could go ahead and throw them in there. Carrots actually add a lot of flavor, a lot more flavor when they're older. So if you have carrots that are really like soft that you would typically throw out, they actually have more starch and more sweetness. So they're gonna flavor your stock a lot more than like a fresh carrot. So you wanna, the main ingredients that you wanna make sure you have. So I just dumped all that in there. You can see we have a bone from when we made some pork. You can throw in whatever you want, obviously. We are not vegetarians. I don't care if it's not strictly vegetable stock. We will flavor it with whatever we have. The main three things you wanna make sure you have in there so that you get good flavor is onion, celery, and carrot. That's gonna pull out the most flavor for your stock. I've done this before where I had a lot of zucchini and squash and all those good things, but the flavor was not as consistent. So you wanna make sure you have that stuff in there. And then the other thing that you can do is after you cook your stock, if you want to have extra flavor to it, you can add your herbs, any herbs. So one thing I was thinking about doing this time is adding thyme. Thyme is an herb that a lot of people actually don't like to grow and deal with because the leaves are so little, but thyme is a great thing to throw in if you make your stock. At the very end, after you cook it down, you can cut off some thyme and stick it in there and let it sit in that steamy water 30 minutes or an hour, and then pull it out or strain your stock, and it'll add extra richness and flavor to your stock. So that's a good thing to use your herbs for as well. If you grow herbs, throw it in after you turn off your heat and let it cool with those herbs in there, and then strain everything out and it'll add flavor to that liquid. So right now we have everything in here. I'm gonna add some water to it and turn it on. Another thing to know is the longer it cooks, obviously the more flavor gets in there and the more it's going to condense. So if you want a richer, thicker stock, let it cook for a long time and cook down. I would definitely let it cook for at least 12 hours to get good flavor, but the longer you cook it, the more it's going to cook down. If you want to add salt to it, you need to do that at the end of your time. Strain it out and then add your salt to it. I'm going to go ahead and grab some water and pour it in. There are some people that do what's called perpetual stock. So they'll leave this full of water and they'll continually add vegetables to it. Or if they have like an entire carcass from like a turkey and chicken or whatever from Thanksgiving, they'll put all of their bones in, fill it with water, and after 12 to 18 hours, they'll start using it, and then they'll just add water back into it and use a perpetual stock. They'll always have stock kind of brewing on their countertop. So that's something you could play around with too. I've done it to a certain degree. I just won't leave it on my counter for like a week and a half on. That kind of freaks me out a little bit. But that's it. If you've ever done this before, I'd love to hear what you've found works for you, what you like to put in your stock. I'd love to hear if you try it. Any questions you have about it, please feel free to comment and let me know, and I'd love to answer them for you. We've been doing this for a really long time, even before we were homesteaders. I actually watched a Food Network video. Ina Garten would chop entire onions and put them in, and entire garlic pieces and put them in, and that's how she would make her stock. So that's kind of where I got the idea from. It's another way that I don't have to depend on the grocery stores, and it's more money that I don't have to spend, and I can make it with my scraps and I don't have to think about it. So if you like these money saving tips, be sure you like and subscribe, and also leave a comment and we can show you other ways that we try to save money on our homestead. Thanks for joining me today, and be blessed.